Hi, Nathan and I are proposing that teachers should pay more attention to Vygotsky over Piaget's theory when planning and implementing student learning experiences. Now, let me review Vygotsky's basic assumptions first. His theory of cognitive development primarily focuses on the role of nurture and the way a child's social and cultural environments foster cognitive growth. One central idea to Vygotsky's theory is that adults share meanings of experiences through interactions with the children. In other words, adults describe and pass along ideas to children, and the children learn from them. In order to pass along the meaning of things, adults pass along cognitive tools as well that help children interact with their experiences. Symbolic or mental tools, such as the concept of fractions or writing, greatly enhance the children's cognitive or thinking abilities. Another central idea to Vygotsky's theory is that language, which is a cognitive tool, and thought become increasingly interdependent in the first few years of a child's life. Infants first think, and then language develops. In the early toddler stage, language is only a means of communication, not thought. But gradually, at about age 2, thought and language begin to intertwine. Children begin to express what they think and begin to think in words. At this beginning stage of this intermingling between language and thought, children use self-talk to guide them through difficult tasks, often modeling the guidance of adults that have been given to them previously. And this is an important function of cognitive development. This talking out loud eventually develops into inner speech. Children are exposed to the ways adults and other knowledgeable people around them talk about and interpret the world. This first social interaction translates to internalization that is uniquely their own. Another assumption is the importance of play. In play, children practice adult-like behaviors beyond their real age and daily behavior. And lastly, one of the most important ideas that Vygotsky shared was the notion that children can perform more challenging tasks when assisted by more advanced and competent individuals. In order to understand this idea, we need to understand what Vygotsky called the zone of proximal development. This zone of proximal development is the range of tasks that children cannot yet perform independently on their own, but can perform with help and guidance from others, like adults or teachers. Vygotsky theorized that children do not learn much from tasks they can do on their own, but instead they develop by accomplishing challenging tasks with support. That is, in other words, when that task is within the child's zone of proximal development. We also need to understand in this theory that the zone of proximal development changes over time as the child masters different tasks, and different children have different zones or widths of zones of proximal development. Now here are examples of how Vygotsky's theory translates into the classroom. For example, children can often learn and make sense of the world through shared interactions with adults and other children. So children construct meaning through this social interaction. Scaffolding is important as well in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Children develop when they perform the task within their zone of proximal development with guidance and structure. Again, what we know as scaffolding. Guided participation is used so that children gradually enter into adult activities until they can do it independently on their own. An apprenticeship is a type of mentorship in which a child works with an adult to learn how to perform complex new skills. This interaction is important where the child first is exposed to how the adult interfaces with this complex skill and learns from the adult and internalizes what he or she has learned. Dynamic assessment is an important idea as well. Instead of assessing what a student can do on their own, a dynamic assessment is a systematic examination of how readily a student can acquire new knowledge or skills and how scaffolding by an adult might help that student. So let's summarize now why would Vygotsky's theory be better for my classroom or our classrooms. First, Vygotsky's theories suggest that cognitive tools provide for complex problem solving, are required for complex problem solving. In the classroom, scaffolding allows the teacher to step back gradually as students progress and students can experience success on their own. In the classroom, we can provide culturally relevant activities in a controlled environment that they will eventually experience in the real world, such as mock trial, a school newspaper, school government elections, etc. And because learning is a social interaction, students work together to accomplish difficult, multifaceted tasks in a communal environment. So these are the reasons why we believe that teachers should pay more attention to Vygotsky over Piaget when planning and implementing student learning experiences. We look forward to your responses. Bye.